So, I've been going around the country, coming to all the dealers in the country, and I've been here once this year already. Yeah, and so this is the second time. Dave's is probably, debatably, not the best, one of the best guitar shops in the world. I mean, you've got a museum upstairs. You've got experts here that know what they're talking about, whether it be on the acoustic side or the amp side or the electric guitar side. You've got vintage guitar experts, you've got vintage amp experts, and the breadth of this business is extraordinary. It goes from here all the way across the country, right? And that's old school. That's the way it used to be, where the salespeople absolutely knew what they were talking about, and then you would go to talk to them about their expertise and whether to get a guitar or not. Recently, David put 300 of our guitars in the store, which kind of hard to deal with from an emotional point of view, but deeply appreciated, right? And I promised him that we would come and do this clinic, and I brought Tony McManus with me. Tony's here. Tony's a touring musician, mostly festivals. Now there are 17 guitar manufacturers and 350 brands, so it's really hard to understand what's going on out in the marketplace, right? It's very confusing. And so I find that there's a real need for enough information for people to be able to make a good decision. So I brought a sample of something which we'll try to do over the internet, which clearly shows the beginnings of why some guitars sound good and some guitars sound okay, and some sound beautiful, and some sound great, and some sound good, and others sound, say, fair. Right? And I have a good description of that. So let's do a little bit of physics, and then I'll show you the demo. If you take an A string and put it on 7 different guitars, would you all agree that it sounds 7 different ways? The same string changed on. All right, so all the heads in the room. Right, so put the same string on 7 different guitars, it's going to sound 7 different ways. So would you also agree that the string is trying to do its job? You're hitting it, that's the energy that's going into it, and it's trying to vibrate and create lots of harmonics and do its job, right? Would you also agree that God's not inserting energy into the guitar that doesn't exist? It all came from you hitting the guitar string. Would you agree to that? Okay. Therefore, guitars are completely and totally subtractive. So if the guitar is really trebly, my suggestion is something subtracted the mid-range and the bass. If the guitar is really quiet, something subtracted the volume. If the guitar has loud bass and loud treble and very little mid-range, it's not that it has little mid-range, it's that something subtracted the mid-range. If it's a hollow body, it has a resonance at some note. That energy had to come from the other notes. There's no perpetual motion machine. There's no way the energy is going to come from nothing. It came from that string. So the louder the guitar and the longer it lasts is because, not because of something magic, but because something was less subtractive. Okay? So if you make the bridge and you make the tuning pegs and the nut out of rubber, is the guitar going to sound good, or better, or worse? It's going to sound worse. So we all understand that, right? So imagine that those parts were made out of the opposite, something that didn't subtract. Rubber would be a subtractive material. Okay, does that make sense? So this demo I'm going to do is for tuning pegs, it's for nuts, it's for finish. Imagine having the finish made out of rubber would deaden the guitar. Okay, it's for how much water is in the wood, how much resin is in the wood that's not crystallized, you name it. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bag of parts and I'm going to grab 2 plastic nuts and a bone nut and one of our nuts, and we're going to listen to the difference between them. Okay? I'm going to lay the mic here so the people back there can hear it. I don't know. We'll see. Start again. You really want to put that on your guitar? So the claim is that's absorbing vibration. It's trying to vibrate, but it's deadening it, right? And the last one is our new nut material that we're very proud of. And the next to the last one was bone, which is typically considered the best nut material for guitars. But why spend years putting a guitar together and put a piece of plastic underneath the string? It seems nuts to me. If you're going to do, once you get that far, why don't you put something good on it, right? That was my point. So let's try again. This is a piece of plastic. And here's a piece of aluminum. Hear the difference? Hear a ring? That doesn't want to ring. And what my suggestion is, if you make the bridge out of this, it's going to sound like that. If you make the bridge out of that, it's going to sound like that. Let me show you all something. I'm going to hit this guitar and I'm going to try to shut it up. All right? So, the camera's there, so you're going to have to stand here. Sorry, we're learning. Okay? Just about right. Okay? I'm trying to shut it up and it doesn't want to shut up. Can you hear that? So this guitar is not very subtractive. You'd think that would just shut the guitar down, but what I'm suggesting is this isn't subtractive, this isn't, the nut isn't, the bridge isn't, the finish isn't, how thick the top is. Can you imagine if the top was that thick, it might stop the top from vibrating, right? As you exaggerate each of the points, it makes a lot of sense. Can you guys hear that back there? He's going to sit here and play the guitar without a microphone on it, just so that those in the room, so you can hear what it sounds like, right? But if we've done our job, then it should sound musical, correct? And this is a guitar right out of the box. It's been played maybe 2 minutes in its life. It's a brand new guitar, okay?